They say a single touch from a stranger can alter the course of your life. But her touch didn't just shift mine. It unveiled something I hadn't seen before. It was 11:47 p.m. The streets were deserted, a sharp wind slicing through the night. My thoughts were entangled in numbers and unanswered emails, the residue of a job that paid handsomely but slowly hollowed me out. I was half a block from my apartment when a hand gripped my wrist tightly. "Keep moving," she murmured, her tone calm but urgent, laced with something firm beneath the panic. "Pretend you're my husband." I didn't question her. I simply walked. Maybe it was instinct, or maybe it was something darker inside me that recognized the fear in her voice. 5 minutes passed. Then a man in a worn leather jacket stormed past us, his gaze darting from one side of the sidewalk to the other like he was hunting someone. She pressed closer, her body shaking. I squeezed her hand tighter. The man kept walking. She let out a shaky breath. But this isn't the story of how I saved a stranger. It's the story of how she unknowingly saved me. At the time, I thought I had it all. A wife who still chuckled at my dry humor, in-laws who raised their glasses in my honor at family dinners, and a golden retriever named Milo who greeted me like I was the center of the universe. We owned a cozy 3-bedroom colonial, the kind with a white picket fence and a mailbox still etched with both our names, Julia and Daniel. People admired us, calling us that couple, the ones who seemed to have it all figured out. But the cracks started subtly. They always do. It was a text, one that made her lock her screen a beat too quickly. Then came the double gym membership, one under her name, one billed under someone else's. Her overtime shifts didn't align with the company's hours. I wasn't the jealous type, but I wasn't blind either. So I started watching. Not out of spite, out of precision. She switched perfumes, stopped wearing her wedding band to yoga. Her giggles at dinner faded, but her eyes glowed more often at her phone screen. One evening I said, "I love you," just to hear her response. She smiled faintly and replied, "You too." That was the moment I realized the truth. Not necessarily what she was doing, but that it had already happened. I never confronted her. Instead, I collected data. Synced her phone to an old laptop she'd forgotten about. Slipped a GPS tracker beneath the passenger seat of her car, just like the online forums advised. I monitored browser histories, reviewed transaction logs. It was all there. The downtown Airbnb. A secondary phone line. Restaurant receipts disguised as wellness sessions. His name was Evan. Also married. I found his LinkedIn profile in minutes. Worked in insurance. A forgettable face, the kind you pass every day and never notice. The kind who ruins lives without meaning to. Julia wasn't just having an affair. She was preparing for another life. I didn't scream. I didn't weep. I adapted. Quietly, I moved our finances into separate accounts. Liquidated the stocks I had gifted her. Archived every message. Saved every phone call. Even snapped photos of them kissing in her car, Milo's head poking up from the back seat. I waited. Not for vengeance. For perfect timing. Christmas Eve arrived. Her parents' living room was warm, full of wine, music, and the scent of pine. Everyone laughed, their joy coating the room like icing. Julia looked stunning in red, her wine glass balanced in her hand like royalty. Evan and his wife were there, too. They're neighbors. Julia had told everyone. How fitting. I stood and tapped my glass. Before we opened presents, I said, "I brought one of my own." Smiles all around. Julia's face sparkled with anticipation. She was expecting jewelry. Instead, I pulled a small black remote from my pocket and pressed play. The television flickered to life. "Home video," I said. But it wasn't. Grainy footage appeared, then sharpened. Her car parked outside the Airbnb. Her laughing in lingerie. Evan beside her. Aunt Carol dropped her wine glass. Evan's wife froze, then sobbed. Julia didn't speak. Didn't run. She just stared at me, as if really seeing me for the first time in years. The aftermath came quickly. Evan caught a slap before the second video ended. Julia's father told her to get out. Her mother wept behind a locked bathroom door. By New Year's, She was renting a small apartment and hiring her own legal counsel. I walked away with my dignity intact and all assets untouched. Even Milo chose to come with me. You asked about the woman from that night, the one who grabbed my wrist. After the danger passed, she turned to me and said I felt safe, that I looked like someone she could trust. I smiled and told her it was all about timing. But truthfully, she was the first person to touch me in years without hiding a lie behind it. In that brief moment, I understood desperation. I'd seen it before in my own reflection. They say betrayal is an art form, but so is justice. One conceals, the other exposes. I don't hate Julia. I understand her. Some people escape their lives. I just made sure she couldn't escape the consequences. Now I walk home alone. But I no longer glance over my shoulder. Because the night that stranger reached for my hand was the moment I finally let go of everything else. If you believe in quiet resilience and the strength it takes to walk away with your self-respect intact, share this story.